retire to dinner and thereafter retire to have an early night. I now start off with the Secretary-General of the United Nations, Mr. Antonio Guterres.
Excellencies, the world has failed to keep temperatures to the 1.5 degree temperature rise limit, and about 80% of the world is sitting around this table. A temporary overshoot of this limit is now inevitable. Reaching the 1.5 degree limit is still possible by the end of the century, and that requires making this overshoot as small, short, and safe as possible. In any case, there will be dire consequences. More and worse heat waves, wildfires, floods, hurricanes, and hunger. Africa will pay a deadly price, despite doing very little to cause the problem. Avoiding more climate chaos means bridging the adaptation gap urgently as an essential element of climate justice. Developed countries must keep their promises, starting by doubling adaptation finance this year, and it is my firm belief that it is possible to triple adaptation finance by 2030 with the contribution of the multilateral development banks, as in COP29 in Baku. We must also safeguard the credibility of the Baku finance goals and capitalize the loss and damage fund, including innovative tools of finance. And in keeping with the ambitions of the United Nations Early Warnings for All initiative, we need to ensure everyone, everywhere, is protected by a life-saving alert system by 2027. We also need investments in resilience and technology to boost and protect food systems in the face of climate shocks and disasters. But all our efforts in adaptation will fall short unless we reach a drastic reduction of emissions in the next decade, going clearly beyond the present NDCs, which still lead to an increase of temperatures well beyond 2 degrees. And we need to supercharge the just transition away from fossil fuels to renewable energy, as described in the consensus of the Dubai in COP. Fortunately, the economics on our side. Last year, 90% of new power capacity came from renewables. Renewables are now the cheapest source of new electricity in nearly every country, and ensuring all countries benefit means providing financing and technology to help developing countries invest in grids, storage, and efficiency. And it means supporting workers and communities affected by the transition through training, protection, and new opportunities. All of these requires massive investment, debt relief, greater access to concessional finance, reform of the global financial system, all to give developing countries representation that reflects the realities of today's global economy. We need the G20 leadership and support as we build the resilient world people and planet require. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary General. Thank you for that input. I now call upon His Excellency